Since stuff shut down in March, my biggest issue has been figuring out how to get motivated and train. What has been people's feeling about training during quarantine? What have people done about it? What have you guys been doing to help kind of get people back in the mode?
Yeah, really engaging newsletters help, but I think in all seriousness, it's hard to replicate an in-studio experience. It's like listening to music on a live concert in your ears versus being there live. It's different. Though connected fitness is the new wave, the way that we approach connectivity is different. We don't have that face-to-face experience in the same way that we did prior to March. Johnny and I had to figure out, well, we're not going to tell people to turn their air conditioning up. How can we imbue something cool at home? We had to look at what was the most notable experience that we did in our fridge, aside from the temperature, and it was our slide board experience, which is also a very unknown, underserved piece of equipment that people don't do, but their bodies should do all the time. The slide board is almost like a yoga mat, but imagine it's slick and you put booties on your shoes and you slide back and forth like you're a speed skater. The best workout for core and lower body, and I'll put my name and life on that because reputation. I mean, these thighs were built on a slide board. I'm appealing from the waist down. Anyway, but no, the slide board was a great showpiece, and people were asking us like, well, how can I get one at home? And seeing the rise of other brands and how they're becoming billion-dollar companies, we were like, people are losing their jobs, people are losing their minds. How can we meet them where they're at right now? We fast-tracked a whole new path for our company, created a whole new business vertical, created incredible, and I'll say it, I'm very proud of it, on-demand content with our world-class instructors, and we gave all of our members free slide boards.
Yeah.
We're like, they're the foundation that we need to build off of.
Yeah.
They've kept us afloat when we were open. Them being evangelists of what we're doing is going to help us with a path forward. So we've sold close to 300 boards in the last 2 months. We are expanding into online retail. I mean, it's a international stuff, domestic stuff. It is a whole nother arm to our business. But to your point, like, the path ahead is not what the path was before.
Yeah.
You're going to have to figure something out. You're going to have to make a choice. There's going to be change. There's going to be a dumbbell deficit. There's going to be equipment deficit. How can you find a way to be the leader that you want to follow in your own life?
Being a founder when all of this shit happened.
Yeah.
I know for us it was, we had no idea what was going to happen. We're really lucky. We're a digitally native company. We're a productivity company in a moment where the work from home culture is just presenting even more and more distractions, and people having to balance being parents with being executives, and the guiltless scrolling of Instagram. And so I think that for us, we got really lucky, and it was just like really great timing. However, I'm the first one to admit a lot of other people weren't quite as lucky.
Yeah.
What was it?
Oh yeah, I mean, like, look, there is definitely guilt attached to finding new successes in during this time. I have a lot of friends who are out of a job. It's Johnny and myself, and we have people around us consulting, but it's not the same company. We've accepted that that's for the better.
Yeah.
And we have to adapt. Yeah. Johnny had to move back to Minnesota with his wife and his son Arlo. I'm here and was in Brooklyn, in Weehawken, New Jersey right now. Come find me. Was on the ground floor doing stuff with the production and the branding and stuff for the brand. So it's a very scary time, but I want to remind people that exercise is for mental health first.
Yeah.
Finding products or services that fix you here will help fix you everywhere else.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, I'm not joking. I'm not saying it's because you invited me here. Without your company, I would have been out of business a very long time ago.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
I would like some equity in your company, please. Just kidding. But,
not that cheap.
There's something for everybody, but also your brand can't mean everything to everyone.
Yeah.
And so we've realized we have a niche. We're going to speak to those people. And just because you want to jump on a bike more than you want to jump on a slide board, that's fine too, as long as you're moving.
The people at Formula can attest to it. Like, when I wasn't in my fitness workout groove, I'm just off, not as creative. I'm not coming up with ideas as fast. I'm probably a little bit more reactive. I'm a little bit more ornery. I'm like not able to work the breadth of hours.
We're not meant to be isolated.
Yeah.
So we have to be creative with how we connect.
Yeah.
And when it pertains to our fitness routines, though you can't be alongside somebody in real time, find that connection where you are right now. Have accountability buddies. hey, we're gonna do this live class together. Hey, we're gonna do this thing. And like check up on each other. You helping somebody else is you helping yourself. That's like the number one rule for improv comedy.
Yeah.
Yes, and the people that you care about, and alley-oop them in their life, and you'll look good for being, like, for providing the assist.
What was it like when the gym first had to close with the staff?
Probably the toughest conversations I've ever had to have in my life. I mean, we're fortunate in the fact that we're a single location. We have like 19 employees, including our instructors. And having to make 19 phone calls was very tough. Like, hey, you don't have a job anymore, but we're gonna help make sure that you can collect unemployment, and that if there is any opportunity that you'll be the first to know about it. And I really feel for our studio coordinators because we don't have a studio that they can coordinate in, right? But we do have instructors that we are taking care of as often as we can to create content to help them have a job when we come back in the new year. But it's tough. I'm a feeler, man. I'm a EQ guy. When any source of revenue or when that's cut off and you're like, what am I going to do? I don't want people to have panic. We didn't have a private equity company assuring us it's going to be okay. We're like, oh, like we're on a big loan, and like if we don't have a company anymore, like we're going to have to find another job. I'm like, do I have to go back to nude art modeling? I don't mind, but my wife might now. But the only way forward is through. And like I wanted to live up with Johnny to our whole thing that like we find ourselves when we go through discomfort, and like the cold has always been a threat. The end of things is a threat, right? But like you find out who you really are when you face something. And we literally made a lateral move. We realized that progress is not always linear. Already seeing that we can become the phoenix out of these ashes and be an example for other people.
Yeah. So during quarantine, once your day-to-day stopped, what about yourself or some of the things that you started doing, paying attention to, experimenting with, surprised you? I'll give you an example. Like for me, I was like blown away that with this extra time, like how much I enjoyed like just writing in a journal. It's one thing that I had avoided for 30 years. Just like writing a page a day.
Yeah.
Was there anything like that came up with you?
It gave me a chance to put a lot more focus on how I start my day. Because usually, like, you wake up, you're all, as a founder, you're like, as I was saying before, you're like an unofficial ER doctor. You're like, what's the surgery today? What I said that I did, and it wasn't doing as often as I should, was like finding a place in the beginning of the day to have time for me. Wow, like if I make time for me in the morning, I can make time for everybody else throughout the rest of the day.
You're waking up, you're breathing. Was there anything else that like you were intentionally doing every day in that morning routine?
Avi Greenberg is a dear friend and essentially a mentor to me with his breath practice at Avilu, AVILU. If he's not in your households on a daily basis, shame on you, he should be. He would do the whole Wim Hof, like ice bath, breath stuff at the studio, and he's actually the person leading our breath category for our at-home workouts, which are so important. So yeah, waking up, breathing, cold shower to wake me up before I've taken my daily formula, and having a meaningful conversation with either my wife or a dear friend to kind of just like set the tone for where my headspace was at. I also discovered I walk around a lot when I talk, and when we were confined to the space with my wife, like she was working from home in the living room, I was in the bedroom, I must have had like 10,000 steps just back and forth like a crazy person. But I realized creativity lives on your feet, and so like I was moving around, and I developed like plantar fasciitis just literally walking back and forth. So that's been a fun thing to overcome.
Whoa.
But realized that I don't make time for myself enough, that I don't drink enough water, that I should start the day with a meaningful conversation, so that my conversations with everybody else are just as meaningful, and that I should probably wear pants more often.